These are the plaintiffs, Albert Pena and Dara Goodman. Albert says they loaned the defendant money, and the defendant took their kindness for weakness because he's not repaying them. They tried to help the guy out. They now realize the defendant's untrustworthy, and they're here suing him for the $463.39 they're owed. This is the defendant, Raymond McElia. He says he worked for the plaintiff Albert painting with him, and the guy offered to mentor him. He also offered him money to help him out, and is now turning around claiming they were loans. The man's delusional. And this loan thing's a complete and utter shock to him, because not once was the word loan mentioned until now, that is. He's accused of taking, but not returning.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiffs say they loaned money to the defendant and he stiffed them. But the defendant says this stuff was a gift from the plaintiff who was his mentor. It's the case of don't be such a stiff.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Albert Pena and Dara Goodman, you are suing Raymond McElia for $463.39 that you say you fronted to him and he has refused to repay. Tell me what's going on.
Good morning, Judge. My name is Albert Pena. I met the defendant, Raymond McElia, through his cousin, Maurice, and I do painting. And I asked him, Maurice, to paint, but he couldn't, so he recommended his cousin. So he came to paint for me. He worked about 3 days, approximately 2 or 3 hours in the day. And after that, I didn't have any work for him. So one day he called me, and he asked me if he could borrow $20 for gas. I said, okay. So I was doing some work when he came in, so he came in for a while.
So you loaned him $20, and when was he supposed to pay you back?
When he gets it. He didn't, till he gets some more work. He was going through a tough time.
Okay.
Okay. Shortly
When did the car payment come up?
The car payment came up shortly after that. He called me, said he had car payments and that he didn't know how he was going to pay it, and they're going to take his car. And
I mean, you barely knew the guy. You gave him a job for a few, so why are you loaning him money?
No. He asked, could he borrow some money?
Yes, I know.
All right. But the question is, when he said, can he borrow some money, he told me they had unemployment. His unemployment is going to be kicking in, and he wanted to borrow money.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I didn't misunderstand.
Okay.
So he asked you for money for a car payment, and now you loan him how much?
It was approximately $200.
Okay. So, and you, as I was saying, you barely know him. Why?
He asked me, could I help him out?
Okay, I'd like $1,000.
No, it's not like
I'm
that.
asking
no,
you.
No, Judge, it's not like
but
that.
I'm asking you.
Okay. Because I'm a sincere person.
Okay.
I mean.
All right, so now he doesn't pay that back.
He doesn't pay that back.
And he doesn't pay the November $20 gas back.
No.
And he asked you for more money, and what do?
I said I can't. He called me. And
Oh, but you did. You loaned him money for cell phones. And why did you do that? Because he asked me?
Not only because he asked me.
Okay.
He promised to pay back with his unemployment check.
Yeah, I know. That wasn't happening for the last 3 months. Though.
No. But no, that was in the beginning. 4 separate times he asked me, he said he was going to pay me. Mm-hmm. The first time he's going to pay me from his unemployment check. The second time he said when he gets his training check. The third time he had a problem. He called me. He said, I know I'm supposed to pay you. Can I meet you? But
all right, so did you talk to him and say, yeah, but you still owe me this money?
Yes,
and what was his answer?
His answer, he told me, he texted me and said that he has a job. He said, I'm going to start giving you something every week.
When did you finally get tired and realize that you're not getting paid?
I got tired when he picked me up and he called to go to his house to do some painting for his mother. And he said to me, I never said when. And I was very silent. And I said, you told me 4 separate times you're going to pay me. And you didn't pay me. And
his answer was kind of a snotty, I never said when I'd pay you.
It was that. But
and
then he
texted
me one day and said, for the record, I don't owe you. And that's when I made the...
Do you have that series of texts so I can see it in
I
context? While you're looking for that, let me hear from you. What's your response?
First off, Your Honor, you're far more beautiful in person.
Thank you.
I have to say
I'm sure
that,
you think I'm beautiful too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm awestruck.
Come on, don't be awestruck.
However,
Just stick to the facts, will you?
So how well do you have to know somebody before you start loaning them money?
Probably over 15, 20 years or so.
15 or 20 years. Would you loan somebody money if they're on unemployment?
I might. I never loan more than I can afford to lose.
So you just assume you're not going to get it back.
But
if you want to get it back, would you loan somebody money if they're on unemployment?
It depends on how much money and like how they treat you and how close you are to them, I guess.
Fair enough. All good points going inside the courtroom.
So the loan basically is Mr. Pena came off as somebody that, you know, every time I turn around, he's quoting spiritual scripture. I did meet him working, doing painting and things of those nature. He came off as somebody that wanted to be a mentor type, willing to help if you need this, if you need that. I've gave him plenty of rides, never asked him for gas money for the rides I gave him, you know, doing different jobs.
How many jobs did you do with him?
I did maybe 2 jobs with him. What it came down to is he promised me work, and that's how, well, he gave me what he gave me. But what I did say was, if the work comes through that you're promising, then I will, you know, give you something back. But those jobs never came through. As far as unemployment and all these other things.
But why would he have to support you? He doesn't have to support you.
I'm not asking him to support me, but I knew if he's telling me he has work for me, then that's basically at that time the only means I had to reassure that if I gave something back, I would be able to. I wasn't counting on nothing else. So being that I got the money from him and he said he had the jobs, then I was willing to do that.
I'm not sure what your defense is. Are you saying I don't have to pay it back because work never came about with him?
Well,
like, why would that excuse you from? Because you also see this is beyond the work thing. You borrowed money from a guy who wants you to pay him back, and you won't. And I'm not sure I'm understanding what your defense is. Are you saying these weren't loans, or are you saying I don't have to pay back loans if he doesn't give me a job so that I can pay back?
I'm saying that they weren't necessarily loans.
Necessarily loans.
They weren't necessarily
Were you supposed to pay him back or no?
I mean, I'm working for him, and I asked them to do something for me. They weren't loans. I didn't ask them off the pretense of, yo, I'm gonna be able to pay you back this time, that time, or anything like that. But
well, were you supposed to pay him back at all?
When he said he had work for me, then I said I'd give him something back. Yes, I give him back what I'm able to.
But you're a grown man. Why does he have to pay for your bills and not expect to get paid back?
He doesn't have to do anything.
Right.
But after coming, you know, he came across as somebody that, you know, wanted to quote scriptures all the time and, yo, I can do this, I can do that. And I'm like, really, man, you know what, you know. So I was in a jam, and I asked him for his help.
But I don't mind that you're in a jam. I understand you're in a jam. I understand you were going through a tough time. I understand all that. I don't understand your defense sitting here now a year later. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand how you're not saying, yeah, I owe him the money, but, you know, I just can't afford it, and, you know, give me time to pay. If I would understand you coming up here and saying that. But you're literally telling me, well, he quotes scriptures, I don't have to pay back the loan. I don't know what that means. He was a mentor, so, you know, it's almost like he can afford it, so I'm not going to pay him. That's not right.
I mean, no, ma'am. Okay, I'll say it like this then.
Okay.
He never said, I'm giving you this and you need to pay me back. You understand my situation. I refuse. I'm not, you know, I refuse to do other things that I could have done, and, you know, a couple of times I felt like I might have. I refuse to do those things, so it came to a point where he basically asked if you know, do you need this, do you need that, what's going on?
Right, but I might want to do you a favor because of scripture or otherwise and front you some money so you don't lose your car to repossession, but that does not mean that that favor was a gift. It could mean that favor was fronting you the money, which means you still got to pay it back if that was the understanding at the time that the money was paid. I'm looking at text between you and him.
Basically, and if you see in the text, I said, yo, I see what you're trying to do. I mean, the real of it is I don't owe you anything.
How do you figure you don't owe him anything?
He did something out as a favor.
But it's not a favor. I see where you're talking about paying him back. And, you know.
That's only because he had to work for me. And if he talks about he has to work for me, then I said I would. I mean.
Yeah. You know what? He's not the only guy in the world that can provide you with work.
Absolutely.
And it's not his job to provide you with work. You can get up off your hiney and get other work and pay off your bills like mere mortals have to, like the rest of us.
That's what I do, Your Honor.
Right, then do it. So I'm finding in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $463.39. Good luck, everybody.
That's not right.
Thank you.
Well, no question about it. The plaintiff prevails in this case. The defendant's just on his way out of the courtroom. What do you think about what the judge just decided?
Garbage.
Well,
that's
he
how
did you a favor.
He did me a favor, man. But you know, it's not like I came to him, you know, he understood my situation, and
Yeah.
you know, you learn people, they want to talk to you, and you feel comfortable talking to them. Then I feel like when somebody proposed something to you, I mean, it's not like I came to him begging and asking like that, asking for anything. He said he was willing to do, if you need some help, then I'll do this, that, and the third. I said, okay, no problem.
So you don't think you really should have to pay it back?
No, absolutely not.
Well, sorry, but the judge disagrees.
Yeah,
Okay, you must
understood.
sign a few documents out there.
Thank you.
All right, here comes the plaintiff and his wife, both plaintiffs.
Cousin.
Well, cousin, okay. Sorry about that. You know, he still doesn't think he owes it to you, but you were really being awfully nice to him.
I was, and I just took him at his word, and he just didn't honor his word.
You think this is going to change the way you might be prompted to help people in the future?
Not necessarily. If
No?
God leads me to do it, I'll still do
Still
it.
be a good guy?
Yes.
Well, you are a good guy. Thank you very much. You must sign a few documents. Harvey?
Okay, Doug, it's obviously it's okay if you want to loan a friend money, that's no problem. I would always advise that when you do that, if you really want to get paid back and if it really is a loan, send an email where you basically state, you know, I was happy to loan you the money and I expect that you'll pay it back whenever, but put it in an email so down the line they can't say, oh, no, it was a gift. So emails, texts, it is magic in terms of ending up in court and showing the judge, look, here's proof it was a loan.